You ever wondered how to play and sing at the same time? You're not alone. Somebody actually commented on one of my video tutorials saying that they were struggling with playing the song and singing, so I thought I'd do a tutorial on it. So a couple of background things. Number one, it's hard. If you're looking for an easy way to just, quick fix and get past this hurdle, you're not going to find it here. It's hard to learn to play and sing. But number two, it's doable. It's doable for anybody who has a mind to put in the work. So with those two things said, let's dive in. So the first thing, you have to be able to play and sing individually in order to play and sing at the same time. I know that's very obvious, but I just thought we'll just say that. Number two, the main difficulty in learning to play and sing is playing one rhythm and singing another. Okay, so we could put that on a whiteboard and say that's our number one issue actually, is playing and singing rhythms that are different. If you're doing, say, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you're playing notes and you're singing notes that are the same pitch and the same rhythm. So it's very easy to do that. Actually, it's very natural to do that, and it's something that I find my guitar students doing, actually, is kind of humming along as they're playing in the exact same rhythm. So if playing the same exact rhythm is easy, then how do we learn to play rhythms that are different? To do that, we have to be able to be very cognizant of what we're doing when we're playing. And what I mean by that is we have to understand rhythmically what we're doing. So the song that somebody was struggling with and asked me here on YouTube goes like this. Okay, that's the rhythm of the acoustic guitar part. And the vocals are different than that. They go, but I want something more, right? But I want something more. And so you listen to that and you go, well, they're not the same rhythm. Okay, that's the first thing to recognize. The second thing to recognize, okay, what are those rhythms? You have to be able to break it down and look at what, as far as eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, triplets, you have to be able to analytically understand what you're doing. Otherwise, it's sort of like throwing darts at a board with a blindfold on. You have no idea what you're doing, and you might get the bullseye. You might just happen to be able to play and sing the song if you just throw enough darts at the board. But in order to consistently learn any song so that you can play and sing it, you have to be able to break it down, okay? So the number one thing to do, let's take a look at this song in particular, just because, why not? And then we'll also look at something else just for clarity's sake. When you're playing these notes, those are 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So the first thing that I would do is, well, what I just did. You have to be able, if you can't count and play at the same time, you can't sing and play at the same time. So the first goal is to learn to count out loud as well as play at the same time. Count the rhythm that you are playing. So in this case, you're playing 16th notes, so it's pretty easy. It's like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You're saying one word or syllable per note that you play. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. It's not that hard. But from there, we have to start learning how to play divergent rhythms. So rather than playing, saying a melody, what we'll do is we'll say a different rhythmic pattern. So we were doing 16th notes. Why don't we say, instead of saying 16th notes, we'll say eighth notes. So if we continue to play 1 E and a, but we will not say the E's and the U's of the 16th notes, we'll just say 1 and 2 and. So half as many notes as what we're playing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Well, we're already saying a different rhythm than we're playing. That's a huge step toward being able to sing something different than what you're playing. The next step in that, okay, we went from 16th notes to eighth notes, then go from eighth notes to quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or you could even go down to half notes and count just on the 1 and the 3. And this seems maybe like a a boring process. What's the point? What you're trying to do is you're trying to train your brain to be able to basically keep track of two separate rhythms at the same time. Because as far as your fingers are concerned, they're not actually controlling pitch. They're controlling location here. Okay, so one part of your brain thinks about that, and another part of your brain thinks about your vocal cords controlling pitch. So you're sort of controlling two different things there. So your brain can kind of compartmentalize that easily. But the one thing that is shared is that you're also thinking about the timing. You're thinking about the timing of the pitch and the timing of the location of your fingers. And the issue is being able to think about two separate ones. And so when you start playing and counting something different than each other, that sort of opens the door for being able to process two rhythmic things at once. So a song that I've been working on is a song that I'm putting on my record, and it's called Far Away. Now, the original acoustic guitar part goes something like... Okay? And it's very rhythmic. I'm just strumming 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, okay? But when I went to record it, I ended up playing something different because of the arrangement on the record. The electric guitar part goes... Well, it's still 16th notes. What's the big deal? I'm playing single notes. I'm playing through a scale, and I'm also pausing. So being able to sing... I'm going somewhere far away. That's not that hard to do when you're just like a metronome, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... But when you're playing a scale, like that, oh, I'm going somewhere far away. It's way harder. I know this because I tried. After going into the studio and tracking that guitar part, I came home and I was like, well, I'm going to have to play this live with my band. So I tried to play and sing it, and I couldn't do it. I absolutely couldn't do it. And so I started thinking about this, going, okay, what do I have to do? So I started counting. I started counting the same notes as what I was playing. Well, these are 16th notes, right? You can hear the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm playing... Okay, well, I know those are 16th notes, right? There's 4 of them per beat. So I go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Okay? So that's the first step. Then you start counting something different. Well, all we do is just break it down. Instead of we're counting 16th notes, so 4, words per beat, let's just do 8th notes. So then only 2 words per beat. So instead of 1E and a, we'll just go 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's a little step to go from 16ths to 8ths. But then you just take another little step and go to quarter notes. Instead of 1 and 2, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. See, right there, I made a mistake because it's a little step, but if you're not careful, you can make a big mistake. So let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Okay? Then that's helpful if everything that we're singing sort of falls into either quarter notes, 8th notes, or 16th notes, But what if we're singing something that's a triplet, I have a tendency to do that and sing things on the offbeat. And so a triplet, which would be instead of 1 and 2 and, or 1E and a 2E and, it would be 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Or I might be mixing things up in the melody. I haven't mapped out the melody of the song. I don't know what everything is. So if I practice quarter notes, 8th notes, 16ths, and triplets, saying all of those things while playing this rhythm, then whatever I run into in the song rhythmically, I know that I've done it before, so I can do it again. It's basically just being able to break things down so that you can put it into something quantifiable. If you can wrap your head out analytically around what you're doing, you can break it down into pieces and actually work on it. If it's just sort of like, well, this is the way the melody goes, and I have no idea where it fits in a measure, I don't know whether I'm singing quarter notes or 8th notes or anything like that. Not that you have to have the whole song memorized, but if you can't figure that stuff out, you have no way of actually learning how to play and sing at the same time. Again, it's sort of throwing darts at a board with your eyes closed.